Well, g'day. Thanks for joining me. Haven't made a bit of a rant for a little while, so I figured I'd just tune my guitar up while I think of something to say. I don't really have much to talk about. The latest topics up for debate are still the Earth is flat. It's not even a debate topic anymore. It's a done deal. Currently here in Australia there's a postal vote, gone postal, about same-sex marriage. And it's a bit of a controversial topic. Most people I know, they seem to be, well, they're level-headed people, put it that way. And they seem to mostly be on the side of against it, or neutral, or seeing it for what it is, just another distraction from something else that's obviously going down. You know, like there's been countless important issues happen that we don't get a single say on. We don't get a vote on any of those, but for some reason they seem to want to give us a say on same-sex marriage, and it won't make any difference one way or the next. No, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. They've probably already done it. Now they're just trying to see how much support they actually got for what they've already done. Many people claiming it's just another, incremental step towards the acceptance of pedophilia, as though if we can accept out and outright equal rights for same-sex relationship couples, then it won't be long before we'll view people whose sexual perturbations are towards minors. Like, it's a slippery slope, I guess. Maybe that's not the best term, but it's certainly not something that most people with any sort of decent moral standards would support. We all believe that children should be children, and once they're old enough to make up their own minds to become sexually active without being influenced by older people, but as they generally naturally come into fruition with people of their own similar age, then that's up to them. But as it stands, the age of consent at the moment is 16 years, which is possibly a little young as it is, but at least for minors, two 16-year-olds, that's, so be it. Hopefully they'll use protection. Same-sex couples, well, I've got no problem with that. I think it's fine. And I think they deserve the same rights as a married couple, but whether they deserve the same, what do you call it? It's the institution of marriage. It's a spiritual sort of, God, I can't think of any of the words tonight. Being raised as a Catholic myself, I grew up with you do all these different, I think they're called sacraments or something. The first one, baptism, then confirmation, and all that sort of crap. Well, marriage is a highly spiritual sacrament between a man and a woman, where the man and woman become one and are recognised lawfully as one, and so they have the same rights as, say, one individual. You can't be forced to go to court and testify against yourself, and neither can your spouse. And if one of you should happen to pass, then you become the rightful head inheritor to all their worldly goods, and should one be sick or ill or unable to make decisions for themselves, you have the right to make those decisions. Well, I think if we shouldn't discriminate against people just because of their genitalia, what they were born with. If they're in a relationship with someone as though they are a married couple, they deserve the exact same rights as a married couple do. It's simple as that. You know, if they're ill and they're in hospital, it shouldn't be up to other family members to be able to make all the decisions if you're the living spouse of that person. I think that's just common sense and how it should be written into law, to say that you have as much say as a husband or wife would for their husband or wife. You know, sexual discrimination should be stamped out 100%. A living, loving relationship should be recognised as a living, loving relationship without sexual discrimination. So, same-sex marriage, I voted yes. I'm all for it. I think absolutely, 100%. Everybody deserves equal rights, regardless of their genetic makeup. You know, maybe they should just write it into their living will when they're with somebody. Then if they do split up and move on, well, change the living will so that you give the power of attorney to somebody else. It's not really that difficult, whether or not you need to call it marriage. You know, I can see very much the support of the no vote towards that, because marriage is a sacred institution. And the other thing, I think, when it comes down to it is, why would anybody want to let the government get involved in their personal relationship in the first place? I mean, yes, it might grant you some extra rights, which is why I say, write a living will and assert your rights. Then you don't need a piece of paper issued by the government to monitor everything you do and then control what you can and cannot do, and whether you should be entitled to a divorce or whatever, meeting their strict guidelines. So one thing I did forget to do was to bring a glass of water with me. So I might just pause for 1 second and go get a glass of water. I'll be right back. Told you I'd be right back. So I didn't have any glasses, but this is glass. Oh, that was disappointing. Fizz. You're supposed to go big bang pop. Still good though, and it is 95% water. I just add some extra special ingredients to make it into a super health tonic, and ferment some sugar in it as a preservative so it lasts for a long time. Bloody good. Cheers. So the other thing that's come up in my discussions on Facebook today, flat earth related of course, is the eating of meat. This Christian guy preaching about Jesus and the Bible and all the rest, he thinks it's fine, perfectly fine to eat meat because the Bible permits it. But I pointed out to him, well, the Bible actually very, very specifically says, thou shalt not kill. This is the law that Moses brought down, written in stone, to give to his people. And it was too hard for them. They couldn't handle it. They had bloodlust in them. So he smashed the stones and he wrote 10 times 10 laws and permitted them to at least slay the beast but not kill one another. So that's how they modified God's law, which says thou shalt not kill. And that for us, we have all the green-leaved herbs and all the seed-bearing fruits. For us, they shall be meat. No, the weaklings, the bloodlust, the sinners, And if you trace sin all the way back to where it began, forbidden fruit. Now, a lot of people think when they hear the word fruit, they think forbidden fruit, an apple, that a snake talked to Eve to make her want to eat the apple from the tree of knowledge. That's not exactly how it worked at all. Forbidden fruit was destroy not that which God has created. So what was sitting on the wall between fruit and that which God created, that which contained life, which wasn't meant for us, it was the egg. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses, la da 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 da. That was what Eve saw a snake eating in the garden. Because that's a snake's thing. It slithers through the long grass and reeds and comes across a nest and devours eggs. And so Eve says to a man, look, God doesn't punish the snake for eating the forbidden fruit. Aren't we so much higher than the snake? Surely we can do it. I've told this story several times before, but let me just repeat it again, And so Adam can't see any harm in what she's saying. Well, yeah, we have the free will to do as we will. If the snake can do it, surely we are higher than the snake. Why don't we do it? And when they did it, it gave them this sort of lust that for doing something forbidden, by destroying this egg and eating this gooey insides. And of course they didn't eat the whole egg as the snake does. So when Mother Goose returned and saw what the humans had done to her babies, she got furious, and she, honked and flapped and chased them out of the garden. And they felt guilty afterwards. They felt shame for the first time, and they felt naked because they'd realised that they had sinned. They'd eaten the forbidden fruit. They had killed, and the Lord had instructed. Well, we didn't need to instruct. We were born with the knowledge, thou shalt not kill, back in the day. So, their first offspring, as a result of this, born with the tainted blood, grew up to be the first person to kill his own brother. And that is why all the offspring from that lineage are born in sin. Now, we can save ourselves from this by stopping the killing and stopping the consuming of dead animals, of flesh, of eggs, of dairy, food meant for the babies of these animals. We have to stop sinning by stop stealing their lives, their livelihoods, by stop being cruel to these animals, by being good to them. And then when you go and sin no more, that'll mean you'll stay free from disease. You'll be free from the bite of poisonous serpents and stinging things, because you are living in good karma and you are at peace, and the animals can detect you are not there to harm them. You are there just to love, to give love, to be love, and to help them love and be loved as well. Because I tell you, every one of these animals loves their children just as much as we love our own. So, having this discussion with this Bible believer who says we can't eat pork but we can eat cows. There's no difference. If you are taking the life of a living sentient being or encouraging somebody else to take it for you so that you can eat its flesh, you are living in sin, the worst type of sin, that is death. Death comes from death. Life comes from life. Eat living foods in season. Sprout your grains. Mash them into your bread and put them out into the sun. And the chlorophyll-rich nutrients you will get. This is why Jesus specifically taught us in the Lord's Prayer to give us this day our daily bread. Not give us this day our daily slain animal, or our piece of flesh from an animal raised in a factory farm, even a fish. There's no actual record of him himself actually eating fish. If anything, he saved people from being catchers of fish and converted them into the Essene essential way of being, a way of living, the way to find eternal life. It's not some dream in the afterlife. Eternal life is the life we have here and now. And if you want to live forever, stop eating dead shit. Find living food, eat living foods, become abundant in life and light. I mean, everything is sunlight. When you think about a plant, captures sunlight through its leaves, draws the moisture and nutrients out of the living Mother Earth, and converts them into beautifully packaged products of light, food, water, nutrients, perfect for us. And so when we eat them, we are eating sunlight with the benefit of all the fibre and nutrients and everything that help it pass through and remove the stuff we no longer need. When you eat dead flesh, it putrefies in your gut. It takes forever to get passed out. And it's a nasty, smelly end product. And if you don't eat with vegetable fibres, even worse. You'll end up with bowel cancer, all kinds of complications. Don't eat death. Eat life. Be life. Let the light come into you so you can be the light. And when you are the living light, you understand all this stuff intuitively. You don't have to learn it from a book. You don't have to quote from dead scriptures and say, blah, 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 we can do this, we can do that, it says it's okay. No, thou shalt not kill. Simple as that. You are not killing a vegetable when you pick it to eat it. You are enhancing its life. If the seeds pass through you and they are planted in a small hole in the ground with a parcel of natural fertilizer, as we used to do, you're enhancing the life of that plant and possibly growing hundreds more of them. You can even prove it to yourself. People say, oh, but they use the example of a carrot. You can go to your refrigerator right now if you have carrots. Most of you do. I do. I've got stacks of them. Carrots are pretty good. Cut the top off it. Put that top into a shallow dish of water. Put it in the cupboard in a dark place for a few days, and you'll come back and see it has sprouted all these fresh greens. It is not dead. It is still alive. That is how plants work. They don't work on the same sort of nervous system and circulatory system and breathing system that we living, breathing animals, sentient beings have. Plants live for us and we live for them, and it's a mutual, beneficial, everybody benefits relationship. Nobody benefits from the slain cow. The cow doesn't benefit, it wants to live. And you don't benefit because you're poisoning your body with all that fear and death and blood and poisonous toxins that do you no good. And it makes you an angry person, and you don't even know why you're angry. You can't sort of reach that next stage of realization, of awakening, to realize you can talk with the animals. You can literally sit and talk with them, and they will listen, and they know, and you know, if you awaken yourself up by stop eating them and tune in to the natural world. We are part of it. We are literally the gods of this world. Literally. That is what we are born to be. But we can't do it if we are living in death, if we are living in sin. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about for today. All Jesus said was, love one another as I have loved you. Susan takes you down to a place travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you think you maybe trust her, 'cause she's touched your perfect body with her mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from a lonely wooden tower. And when he knew for certain only drowning men could see him, he said, all men shall be sailors then, until the sea shall free them. But he himself was broken long before the sky would open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like a stone. And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Susan takes you down to her place near the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night forever, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor, and she shows you where to look amid the garbage and the flowers. There are heroes in the seaweed, there are children in the morning. They are leaning out for love, they will lean that way forever, while Susan holds a mirror. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know that you can trust her, for you've touched her perfect body with your mind. Don't mind that song. When you ask yourself, what would Jesus do? He'd take a two-edged sword and a whip, and he'd go in the government house, and he'd cause some bloody hate, mayhem, some havoc. That's what I think. He overturned the bankers' tables. That's what he did. Well, he had to get pissed to do it. Need a bit of Dutch courage to go and smash them. I don't know if I've got any more songs in here. I'm going to do this one. This will finish off the video. So if it stops before I finish the song, thanks for joining me, thanks for listening, and peace and love, man. Peace and love. Love one another. Don't worry about what people do with their genitals. It's okay. It really is. If two people of the same sex love one another, that's what Jesus wanted. He said the day will come when men will be comforters of men. What gives you more comfort than to be in love? I mean, I'm not that way inclined. I love women. I'm a bit of a woman freak. But I love everybody that loves. That's what matters. You know why they call them gay? Because they're happy. They're super happy. You look at who the miserable people are. They're the people stuck in relationships that they're not happy in. They hate one another. They fight like cat and dog. Simply because they can make babies, and the church said long ago that sex before marriage is not permitted. It's sinful, and unless you get our permission and our approval, then you are stuck with one another for life, and you can't do it. And fuck the church. Like watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. Well, there's so much they hold, and just like them old stars, I see that you've come so far. Right where you are. How old is your soul? Well, I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even fall to the earth. We've got a lot to learn, but God knows we're worth it. Won't give up. I don't wanna be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. The differences they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you're still my friend. At least we didn't tend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without the world caving in. I had to learn what I've got and what I'm not.